Have you ever stopped to think about how often your elderly loved one should be bathing? Maybe you've noticed they're taking more showers than usual, or perhaps it's been a while since they've had a good wash. You might think, well, they're getting older, so maybe it's just a part of it. But here's the thing, bathing frequency in seniors isn't just about hygiene. No, it's about much more than that. It's about their health, their safety, and their comfort. It's about making sure their skin stays healthy, preventing falls, and even protecting their mental well-being. But if we're not paying attention, something as simple as bath time can reveal bigger health concerns we might miss. Now, I know what you're thinking. They're just getting older, so they don't need to shower as often, right? But here's the truth, these seemingly small habits can be a red flag for something much deeper. If you're caring for someone who's aging, those little changes in their routine aren't just part of the natural process. They could be signaling health issues that need attention. So, before you shrug it off and assume it's just age, stop for a second. Because in this video, we're diving into 7 surprising facts about bathing frequency that every caregiver or family member needs to understand. By the time you finish watching, you'll know exactly how often seniors should really be bathing and why some habits could indicate serious health problems. Trust me, these are facts you won't want to miss, facts that could make a huge difference in the way you care for your loved one. So, if you're ready to learn some surprising truths and take your caregiving skills to the next level, make sure you stick around till the end. And hey, if you're ready to dive into the world of senior care, go ahead and comment, "I'm learning," below. Let me know you're here with me, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the Seniors Care community. Trust me, you'll want to be part of this conversation, because the more we share, the better care we can give. Now, let's get into our first surprising fact, and it's one that a lot of people don't think about. You know, we all have a certain picture in our heads about how often someone should bathe. Most of us were taught that daily showers are the gold standard, right? But here's the thing, bathing frequency isn't one size fits all, especially when it comes to seniors. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine your father, a man who's always been active, always had a bit of a spring in his step. Over the years, you notice that he's opting to bathe less often. At first, you brush it off. Maybe it's just laziness, maybe he's tired. But then, as time goes on, you start to wonder, why is he avoiding it more and more? Is it just a sign of getting older, or is there something deeper going on? Here's the reality, as we age, our skin changes, and not for the better. The skin becomes thinner, more fragile, and drier. And because of this, regular bathing can actually do more harm than good. Imagine scrubbing a delicate piece of fabric every day. Over time, it'll start to wear down, become rough, and lose its softness. The same thing happens to skin. Frequent washing can strip it of the natural oils that keep it hydrated and protected. This can lead to dryness, irritation, even painful cracks that can open the door to infections. So, does this mean seniors should just skip the bath altogether? Of course not. But here's a fact that may surprise you, seniors don't necessarily need to bathe every single day. In fact, it's often better for them to bathe less frequently. Some studies suggest that a bath 2 to 3 times a week is often enough to keep their skin healthy and clean, without causing damage. Between those baths, gentle body wipes or sponge baths are a great way to maintain hygiene without overdrying the skin. But, wait. It's easy to think, well, if they're not bathing every day, that's not good hygiene, right? Here's where the misconceptions come in. A lot of people assume that elderly people should be showering daily for hygiene, but that might actually do more harm than good. The key is understanding that more isn't always better. We've all heard the saying, cleanliness is next to godliness, but in the case of senior skin, it's not about doing more, it's about doing what's right for their bodies. So, what's the takeaway here? Seniors, particularly those with sensitive skin, benefit from less frequent bathing. A bath or shower twice a week is often plenty, just make sure it's done gently and with care. And don't forget to use moisturizing products to protect their skin, keeping it nourished and healthy. But of course, skin health isn't the only thing to think about when it comes to bathing frequency. Seniors face other challenges that can change how often they should bathe. Let's dive into those next and explore some other factors that could impact a senior's bathing routine. Now, let's talk about fact number 2, and this one is really important. A lot of us think that more is better when it comes to hygiene, right? The cleaner, the better. But here's the thing, overbathing can actually lead to some serious health issues for seniors. Let's take your grandmother as an example. She insists on having a shower every single day, even though her skin is starting to show signs of irritation, redness, dryness, even some cracking. You might think, well, that's good. She's keeping clean, right? But here's the thing, while she's trying to stay clean, the daily showers might actually be making her skin condition worse. It seems like a healthy habit on the surface, but overbathing can cause more harm than good, especially when it comes to sensitive, aging skin. Now, let's break it down. When you shower, the water and soap strip your skin of its natural oils. And for most people, that's not such a big deal. But for seniors, whose skin is thinner and drier, stripping those oils can be a real problem. The more frequently they bathe, the more those natural oils are removed, leading to skin that gets even drier and more prone to cracking. And those cracks? Well, they create a pathway for bacteria to get in. You can imagine what that means, a higher risk of infections. Skin breakdown is a big issue for elderly individuals, and it's something that often goes unnoticed until it becomes a real problem. Here's the misconception that many families have: more baths equals better hygiene. But that's not the case. In fact, for older adults, overbathing can cause a breakdown in their skin barrier, making it even easier for harmful bacteria to enter. So, the idea of daily showers might be something you've always associated with cleanliness, but it's actually putting your loved one at a higher risk of irritation, discomfort, and infection. So, what should you do instead? Moderation is key. Try limiting showers to just 2 or 3 times a week. And when they do bathe, make sure to use moisturizing soaps that help preserve the skin's natural oils. You can also opt for a mild, fragrance-free soap to avoid further irritation. One of the most important tips I can give you here is to avoid hot water. I know it feels nice, but hot water can actually make dry skin even worse. Stick to lukewarm water, and keep showers short. After the bath, be sure to apply a good moisturizer while the skin is still damp. This helps lock in moisture and prevent further dryness. Now, let's take a step back and think about this for a moment. Not every senior will necessarily experience these issues, but for those who do, it's crucial to strike the right balance. Sometimes, it's not about doing more, but doing less, but in the right way. But there's another important thing to consider when it comes to bathing. Not all seniors want to bathe regularly at all. In fact, some may resist bath time altogether, and that resistance is something we need to understand. Let's explore why that happens, and what we can do about it. Now, let's dive into fact number 3, and this one is especially important for caregivers. If you've noticed that your elderly aunt has started avoiding bath time, you might be at a loss for why. Maybe she's more stubborn than usual, or perhaps she just doesn't want to get in the tub. You might chalk it up to her being difficult, but here's the thing, resistance to bathing can actually be a sign of cognitive decline. I'm not saying it's always the case, but if you've seen this behavior more frequently, it's worth paying attention to. You see, cognitive conditions like Alzheimer's or dementia can make it incredibly hard for seniors to remember even basic routines, like the need to bathe. And it's not because they're being difficult or lazy. It's often because their mind is struggling to keep up with what used to be simple tasks. Bath time, something many of us take for granted, can become a confusing process for someone dealing with cognitive decline. The steps involved in getting ready for a bath, the feeling of water, the unfamiliarity of it all, it can trigger anxiety, and that leads to resistance. It's not just forgetfulness, it's a deeper, more confusing issue they're dealing with, and it's important to recognize that. Now, let's clear up a big misconception. A lot of people assume that when seniors resist bathing, it's just a sign of laziness or forgetfulness. But in reality, it can often point to something much more serious: memory loss, confusion, or sensory overload. Imagine trying to do something as simple as a shower, but your brain isn't able to remember how or why it's necessary. On top of that, the sound of the water, the feeling of soap, or even the temperature of the bathroom might feel overwhelming. It's easy to assume it's stubbornness, but this kind of behavior is often linked to a deeper issue, and we need to approach it with understanding and care. So, how do we deal with this? First, routine is key. People with cognitive decline thrive on consistency, so try to make bath time as predictable and calming as possible. A familiar routine can help reduce anxiety, making the process less intimidating. Try setting up the same time each day or week for bath time. Use simple, clear instructions and let them know what's coming next in a calm, reassuring voice. And don't forget about the environment. It should be warm and comfortable, not just physically but emotionally. A warm bath, both literally and figuratively, can help ease the confusion and make them feel safer. If possible, have someone with them to provide comfort and support during the bath. Avoid rushing, and give them time to adjust to the process at their own pace. The goal isn't to force them into the bath, but to create an environment where they feel comfortable enough to engage. If it's really challenging, it might be worth consulting with a professional, such as an occupational therapist, to get personalized tips on how to manage bath time. But resistance to bathing isn't just linked to cognitive issues. There are also physical factors at play that can affect how often seniors want to bathe. Let's look at some of these, and see what other challenges might be influencing bath frequency. Now, let's get into fact number 4, and this one really hits home for many families. Bathing and mobility issues. This is something that affects so many seniors, and it's one of the most overlooked factors when it comes to bathing frequency. Take your mother, for example. She used to love her relaxing baths. They were her time to unwind, to refresh, and feel rejuvenated. But now, she's struggling. Every time she tries to step into the tub, you notice her wincing, hesitating. It's not that she doesn't want to bathe, it's that arthritis and limited mobility are making something as simple as stepping into the tub feel like an impossible task. She's not being stubborn, but her body is simply not cooperating the way it used to. And believe me, this is a reality for many seniors. As we age, mobility tends to decline, and for many, that makes traditional bathing methods increasingly difficult or even dangerous. Getting in and out of the tub or standing in the shower for long periods can put seniors at risk of falling, which is one of the most serious dangers in elderly care. And because of this, some seniors choose to forego bathing altogether, which only compounds the problem. Now, here's a misconception that many caregivers have: people often think seniors are just being unwilling when they resist bath time. But in reality, it's not about reluctance, it's about physical limitations. It's easy to assume they're being difficult or lazy when they don't want to bathe, but for many seniors, it's not about that at all. It's about struggling to perform a task that was once easy, and now feels like an overwhelming challenge. So, what can we do to help? Well, the first step is to make the bathing environment safer and more accessible. Install grab bars around the tub and in the shower. These can provide essential support and help seniors maintain balance. Non-slip mats are another easy solution that can prevent slipping, and shower chairs can offer a safe place to sit while bathing, allowing them to take their time without feeling rushed or unstable. You can also consider a handheld shower head. This gives them more control over the water flow, and they don't have to worry about standing for long periods. These small adjustments can make a huge difference in how comfortable and confident seniors feel about bathing. And remember, safety and comfort are key. If they can bathe independently, even in a modified way, that can be empowering for them and give them back a sense of control. Now that we've discussed some of the physical barriers to bathing, let's take a moment to talk about something that often gets overlooked: the emotional impact that bathing has on seniors. This leads us to fact number 5, which might surprise you. Bathing can actually have a huge emotional component, especially when it comes to dignity and independence. Think about your elderly father. He's always been a proud man, strong, self-sufficient, and never needing help from anyone. But now, as he gets older, he's starting to need assistance in the bathroom. It's hard for him. It's not just about the task, it's about feeling a loss of dignity. Bathing can be a deeply personal experience, and for many seniors, it's tied directly to their sense of independence. When you're used to taking care of yourself, maintaining personal hygiene becomes a symbol of independence. And as that independence fades, so too does their sense of self-worth. This is something we don't always think about when we're helping our loved ones with everyday tasks, but it's incredibly important. Bathing isn't just about staying clean, it's about maintaining a sense of self-respect. There's also a significant impact on mental health. When seniors begin to feel like they're losing their independence, it can lead to feelings of frustration, helplessness, or even depression. It's easy to overlook the emotional side of bathing, but it's just as important as the physical side. A common mistake many caregivers make is rushing the process or, worse, forcing a bath when it's not welcomed. This can be incredibly damaging to a senior's self-esteem and mental health. Sometimes, we get caught up in thinking that we need to maintain the routine no matter what, but we have to approach it with sensitivity and care. So, how can we make the bathing process less emotionally draining and more uplifting? The key is to create a positive and supportive environment. First, keep the experience calm and consistent. Turn bath time into a ritual that they can look forward to, rather than a dreaded task. Use positive reinforcement to make them feel good about the process. Instead of focusing on what they can't do, highlight their ability to still take part in the experience. If they need help, that's okay. But make sure they're involved in the process as much as possible. Giving them choices, like what kind of soap or shampoo they want to use, can help them feel in control. The goal here isn't just hygiene, it's about dignity. Bathing should be something they do for themselves, not because they have to. It's a personal experience, and it's essential that they feel empowered, even if they need help. Now that we've touched on the emotional side of bathing, let's move on to something else. The balance between hygiene and safety. There's a delicate line to walk, especially as seniors age. Let's dive into our next surprising fact about the balance between hygiene and safety in bath time. Now, let's pause for a moment. Seeing a loved one struggle with something as basic as bathing can be absolutely heart-wrenching. It's hard. It's difficult to watch someone you care about so much resist something that once felt so routine, so natural. And, when those struggles seem to go unnoticed or ignored, it can feel overwhelming, leaving you feeling helpless. But here's where understanding becomes so powerful. When we really stop to think about why these changes are happening, why they might be resisting or struggling with bathing, it becomes clear, we're not just dealing with hygiene. We're dealing with a deeper issue, their health, their comfort, their dignity. This is why understanding the reasons behind these changes is so vital. It shifts the way we care for them. Instead of simply seeing them as difficult, or assuming they're just not trying, we see them as individuals facing physical, emotional, and cognitive challenges. When we understand this, we can care for them more effectively. We can meet them where they are. The goal isn't to fix everything at once, but to respond with patience, kindness, and love, because in the end, that's what makes all the difference. Now, let's reframe the whole situation. Often, we approach these changes with fear of loss, fear of decline. But what if we shifted that perspective? Instead of fear, let's focus on preparedness. By recognizing these changes, we can approach care not as a series of challenges to overcome, but as an opportunity to be better prepared to respond. We're not just trying to maintain their hygiene, we're preserving their dignity, we're protecting their well-being. And that's so much more than just a physical task. It's about their mental health, their emotional security, and their sense of self. You've got the power, right now, to make a positive impact. If you've noticed any of these signs in a loved one, whether it's resistance to bathing, mobility issues, or just a change in their routine, take a moment today to evaluate their bathing habits. Small changes can have a huge impact. Maybe you add a few safety features around the bathroom, or you adjust the bathing routine to suit their needs. Maybe you create a more comforting and dignified bath time experience for them. Whatever it is, remember that even the smallest changes can improve their quality of life and help them maintain their sense of dignity. It's not always easy, I know that. Caring for an elderly loved one can feel like an endless series of challenges, physical challenges, emotional challenges, and yes, sometimes personal challenges. But here's the thing. With the right knowledge, and the right approach, you can make their later years as comfortable, as safe, and as dignified as possible. And that, my friends, is a gift that will stay with both of you. The emotional satisfaction of knowing that you're giving them the care they deserve is immeasurable. So, as we wrap up, I want you to know that you're not alone in this journey. There are ways to adapt, to make their lives easier, more comfortable, and more joyful. With a little patience, a little understanding, and a lot of love, you can navigate these changes with grace and confidence. Take a deep breath, and know that every step you take, no matter how small, is making a world of difference. Stay informed, stay compassionate, and most importantly, stay strong for them. You've got this. Alright, let's take a moment to recap what we've covered. Today, we've explored how the frequency of bathing can deeply impact a senior's skin health, their emotional well-being, and even their mobility. We've seen that it's not just about keeping them clean, it's about understanding the delicate balance between hygiene, comfort, and safety. Whether it's the effects of overbathing, resistance to baths, mobility challenges, or the emotional impact of maintaining dignity, each of these factors plays a huge role in providing the best care for our loved ones. Understanding these changes means we can give them the care they truly need, with more awareness, more compassion, and more confidence. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Did you recognize any of these changes in your own elderly loved ones? Maybe you've experienced resistance, or noticed a shift in bathing habits that you weren't sure how to handle. Drop a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences, because the more we share, the better we can support each other in this journey of care. And, if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to subscribe to the Seniors Care community. We're here to give you more tips, advice, and insights on everything from health to emotional well-being in elderly care. Your support means the world to us. It helps us reach more families who are navigating the challenges of senior care. So, hit that subscribe button, and join us as we continue to learn and grow together. Thank you, truly, for watching today's video. You're doing an incredible job by taking the time to learn more about how to care for your elderly loved ones. Remember, stay strong, stay informed, and take the time to nurture not only their health but also their dignity and comfort. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and stay safe out there.